SecondsOut delighted to be joined by two-weight world champion Ricky Hatton. Obviously on the what will be at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm told, although it's as we film this, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The 15th anniversary of your epic victory over Kostya Tszyu to win your first world title. I assume you've had loads of interest about it. Is it something where it's kind of ringed on the calendar and that you're always thinking about even before people ask?
Yeah, it's in the Hatton household. It's probably as common as a birthday. You remember everyone's birthday. You remember your kid's birthday. We always remember this day because it was what me and Billy Graham strived for from day one. We always said we could be a world champion. We always said we could be the best in the weight division, and that's what I accomplished on that night. Was becoming, it's wonderful to become a world champion, but when you become the number one in the weight division, Kostya Tszyu was universally regarded as the undisputed and one of the best pound for pound, and they said if I could have pulled it off, which I obviously ended up doing, they said it would go down as one of the best wins in a British boxing ring, and I think that's where it stays today. So it's proud, and it makes me feel really, really proud, Danny, when so many people, even now when I walk down the street, whether it be in Manchester or in my hometown, the people just come up to me and go, "Oh, I was there for the Kostya Tszyu night, Ricky. What a night that was!" They still talk about years on, and it makes me feel very proud. Yeah.
And he came in obviously as the champion, long reigning champion as well, and even in the pound for pound conversation. But the fight was in Manchester. You'd been built up as this huge attraction, big ticket seller by Frank Warren at the time. Was there a huge level of expectation on you, even though perhaps with the bookies you might not have been the favourite?
Yeah, there was loads of expectation, but nobody gave us a chance. And I remember getting up in the morning and just reading the papers, and all the top journalists and the sports writers were all. It was like Tszyu to win in 6 rounds, Ricky to get knocked out, and I think everybody up to the Kostya Tszyu fight, I think a lot of people thought they knew I was a decent prospect, and they knew I was exciting to watch, and they knew I sold tickets, but my defence was a little bit leaky at times, and sometimes I was too intent on jumping all over me opponents. And even though me and Billy said we were destined for this, we thought we could win it and everything like that, I think a lot of people didn't share our enthusiasm, whether it be sports press or, if I'm brutally honest, I think half the fans that were in the venue, I think they were all cheering and the heart said, "Come on, Ricky, we want Ricky to do it." But there was and I could feel it in the ring on the night. It was like a nervous tension where everyone was excited, wanted to get behind me. "Come on, Ricky, you can do it." But I think everyone said, "Yeah, we can do it." But I've said, "You can do it," but there was that feel to it. Like everyone's heart said yes, but the brains probably didn't say yes, and that's what it was. And then when I sat off really well in the fight, and then Kostya, after the first 2 rounds, Kostya then set into a little bit of rhythm where he was banking the rounds and looked like the fight was running away from me. You could feel the tension in the crowd. Great start, Ricky, and oh no, he's losing his way now. And then eventually when I turned it around after I think about 7 or 8 rounds, you could see the atmosphere in the crowd switch again, when they thought I was going to do it. It was brilliant. And being in my hometown of Manchester, they were cheering one of their own on, weren't they? And I think that's what there was once that added that extra little bit of tingle and atmosphere in it, because I think they were cheering one of their own on.
Describe, if you can, and I'm sure it will stay with you forever, what the entrance was like. Coming in, jam-packed Manchester Arena, hometown lad, biggest fight of your life. Nervous tension aside, the crowd were rabid. I mean, they couldn't wait. How did you feel standing there, just soaking it all in?
Well, most boxers will tell you, and I think the majority of them, the worst moment of a boxer's, build up to the fight is leaving the changing rooms and then making you walk towards the ring. That's the worst thing, and it's always a nervous one. And he always had big crowds at Manchester, but I knew I was, where I was fighting, I knew I was fighting Premier League. Type thing, and he was such a knockout, and I did believe I could do it. I did believe I could do it. Me and Billy Graham, we swore we could do it. We just stay close to him when he can't get his leverage for his right hand and stuff like that. If we could get past 4 rounds, we knew he was well capable of doing it. But there was always, like I said, there was that eerie tension in the crowd of people thinking, the heart ruling the mind. There was a little bit of that in myself as well as I was walking to the ring. I was confident. I believed that I could do it. But also when your reality gets in and you get in the ring and you see Kostya get in, reality hits home. You think, good God, yeah. Well, it is here now. It's one thing me talking about it. Now I'm going to do it, and it's. And it was just a case of me trying to hold my nerves together. Keep the game plan in my mind. Keep our tactics. Stick to the game plan. Don't lose your cool. Now you're in the ring, and Kostya's in the ring with you, and the crowd's there. It's all about holding everything you spoke about and talked about, and everything you said you were going to do. It's basically just holding it all together when you're on the way to the ring and you get in there.
And as you said, you had a great start. Everyone was right behind you. It looked like it might even be an easy night, and then he got back into his rhythm. What were you thinking at that point? Is there kind of a big gulp of air and right now this is the real business?
Well, the first 2 rounds, I thought I needed to start fast, because obviously he was the older man. And he knew that after them first two rounds, he knew he had to raise the pace a bit himself. Because, otherwise, I'd have left him for dead pace-wise and round-wise. And, so he knew he had to raise the game. So that was our game plan, really. Start fast, so he has to raise it. 34 years of age, he has to raise it then. So the whole purpose was make a fast start, so he had to raise it himself. And he was banking a few of the rounds 3, 4, 5, 6. And I come back on my stool and I kept saying to Billy, I said, Billy, he's banking a few of these rounds here. I said, the fight's feels like it's running away from me a bit. And Billy just said, keep on at him, keep on at him, keep on him. Eventually he'll break. He's never worked at this higher tempo, for years. If you keep in there, you keep on there, keep to the game plan. Eventually he'll hit a brick wall and then it'll be our turn to turn the screws. And that's exactly how the fight went. The fight went exactly how Billy expected it to. He said that Kostya Tszyu trainer, I forget his name now. The guy, Teddy. He said, if the fight gets a little bit hard down the home straight, he said he'll pull him out because him and Kostya were very, very close. He fought the world of Kostya, and Billy said to me, he said if it starts getting a little bit, rough and tumble down that home straight, he said, not only if we get our tactics right, will we come on strong down the home straight, which we did. He said, I think Jimmy Lewis will pull Kostya out. And, it's amazing. Billy had got his reputation as a trainer for years on getting the best out of people when they were coming towards the end of the career, like Bingham and Foster and Cal Thompson. And they said his best attribute was his conditioner. I think his best attribute was his boxing knowledge and brain. And that in the Kostya Tszyu fight, it was what we did tactically. Everything he said, it was right. And it always, 9 times out of 10, it was always the case with Bill.
Was there a particular point in the fight or a particular round where you realised that what Billy had been talking about in the corner was about to come to fruition, where you thought he's fading here?
Yeah, I think it was about, round 8. Because even though I was losing the rounds, I was staying close to him and leaning on him and landing me body shots downstairs, bit by bit trying to wear him down. But he, I come back to the corner at the end of 3 rounds and, Billy would say, how strong does he feel? Yeah, still strong. How heavy-handed does he feel? Yeah, still heavy-handed. But then as the rounds went on, 4, 5, 6, 7, I could feel him weaken. And then I think it was about round 8, I got in a bit of a clinch, and he really went weak then. And I thought, that's when I've got him. That's when the tactics kick in now.
And when he was retired on his stool, it took a lot of people by surprise. But because Billy had said to you before that Johnny Lewis had said that he might pull him out, I'm guessing you weren't overly surprised. Maybe you were surprised it came when it did, though.
No, he started weakening about round 8, but he knew, he's a proud champion. He still had a lot of fight. left in him, and he was still going, but I could feel him drain a little bit. And as he was coming down the last 2 rounds, I kept looking up, thinking, what Billy had said, or Johnny Lewis pulling him out. I think, oh, is he pulling him out? Please pull him out. Yeah. But no, and Costa was like, I remember, I think it was about round 9 or something like that. He had a big burst of punches where, he landed like 5 or 6 shots in succession. And I think, in many respects, that was his last hurrah. He was digging in, and he tried to dig in, and he picked me off. And I thought to myself, how has he found that? At this, how the tempo of the fight was going. But he did. He stayed in there. And I think Kostya himself would have stayed in there. But sometimes boxers were too brave for our own good. He had to be taken out of his. Hands to be honest with you, because otherwise, I don't think Kostya would have quit. There, Paul. I don't think Kostya would have quit. I think Kostya would have gone on, but that's like us fighters do. We never know when to quit. Kostya Tszyu would have said, "Yeah, carry on, let it carry on, Johnny, let it carry on." But he had to be saved from himself, I guess, in many ways.
And the kind of thrill of victory and the realisation that everything you and Billy had worked towards had finally happened. When does that sink in? Is it when he's retired? Is it when the announcement's made by the MC? Is it later on in the dressing room?
I think when it was over. I think when you saw Dave Paris, waves his arms over, I just collapsed. One because I was knackered, and 2, it was just like, we'd done it. We told everyone they'd do it, and everyone was like, "Listen, lads, we share your enthusiasm, and we wish you good luck, but can't really see it." And it was like, not just that was my fuel when people were telling me I couldn't do it and I couldn't do this and I wasn't going to beat him and that. Every time he hit me with that right hand, he hit me with the right hand pretty much at the start of every round to try and keep me at bay and keep me at arm's length. But every time he hit me, I thought, I just clinched, and it hurt like you wouldn't believe. And I just clinched and thought to myself, don't let them win. No, don't let all the doubters win. So I was just going through the pain barrier all the time. But I think it was like, just a relief when the Dave Paris went like that for me and Billy. It was like I'd achieved my goal and achieved Everest. And all the people that said that we couldn't, I think there was only me and Billy said we could. And it was just a magical moment. It really was.
How do you put it into context now? Because you had some great nights in America. You had some great nights back here as well, like the homecoming fight as well against Lascano. That I was privileged to attend that, and 50,000 other people were as well. Is it still the pinnacle of your career, the Kostya Tszyu win?
I think it was my greatest win, yeah, without doubt, because like I said earlier, you can win a world title, which is a wonderful achievement, but you can win a world title doesn't necessarily mean you're the best in your weight division. And I ended up being the number 1 in my weight division, and I think he was number 2, pound for pound, at the time. And when you look through history at the light welterweight champions, there's not too many out there as formidable as Kostya Tszyu. So when you have one of them victories, as you can imagine, it was unbelievable. I think that would probably go down as my greatest win. And it was, people called it my Everest. My Everest win. And they said, now Ricky's climbed Everest, and has achieved that great victory. I was very proud to say I had a few more Everests from there on in, didn't I? Became a 2-weight world champion, unified the division and moved up a weight, and then moved back down a weight for Urango, and 4 world titles, in consecutive fights. It was Kostya Tszyu's IBF, Mauser's WBA welterweight for Calazo, and then back down for Urango for the IBF. So when you consider doing that after a supposedly clowned Everest, we didn't do bad. And obviously I had my defeats against Kostya Tszyu and Pacquiao, to be honest with you, but there was still wonderful achievements. 40,000 fans turning up to Vegas, even though it ended in defeat. If you had 40,000 fans going watching England in the World Cup, that'd be something else, but they went to see one man. So great loads of great fights to look back on. But I think the Kostya Tszyu one will always be very, very special for me because it was my first significant world title. And the man who ever did it, if I'd have knocked him out with a body shot or with a right hand to the chin, it couldn't have been as perfect of ending as it was. Having the great man sat on his stool saying, "No more, please leave me," and in my hometown of Manchester as well, it was, and then, the sportsmanship after, if you remember, because I got the mic and congratulated Kostya, what a great champion you've been, all the best, Kostya, and then he got the mic and congratulated me, it was end of the rainbow fairy tale stuff, wasn't it, really, when you think it couldn't have gone, you couldn't have wrote it any perfecter, I don't think.
And just before I let you go, how does it make you feel that people are still talking about that performance, revering that performance, and still watching the fight as well?
No, it's brilliant. When people come up to me in the street and say, "Oh, I saw that fight against Kostya Tszyu, no one give you the chance," you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, don't forget, you know me years, Danny. I've always and still do consider myself that little shit from the council estate. You know what I mean? And so when people talk to me in such esteem, if you like, about fighting this guy, fighting that guy, fighting that guy, it's always going to feel weird, to me, because you always consider me, myself as the kid from the council estate, just goes to the pub and plays his darts and goes to watch City. I'm still that same lad as I was, all them years ago before these big nights came along. But I think, ultimately, I think that's why people liked me. And I think that's why people love coming to me and talking about me, because they were so proud of me, not just what I did in the ring, and I think what I stood for, because it was cheering their own on that night. They were cheering one of their own, and that's it. I still see myself as the man in the crowd, and I think great times. Just speaking about it and talking about it to yourself, looking back on it, it was a great night for me, as you know. But not only that, a great night for the people in City and Manchester. When you look at what Man United done over the years, winning titles and European, Champions League, and City now winning the titles and that, you look back at, Ricky Hatton will be up there with Manchester's greatest ever nights, and we had a few ones after since, with Anthony Croller and Terry Flanagan and Carl Thompson fighting Chris Eubanks. But I hope the lads that I've mentioned, who have had so many great nights in Manchester's, but I think I hope they won't mind me saying, I think that one might have topped the bill, because it was something else, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure they were all glued to their TV watching it, or ringside. Yeah. I think Croller said before he was ringside, didn't he? So.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Really, really appreciate your time, especially on such a special day. I'll let you get back to your girls. I know they haven't long been there and you want to spend some quality time. So much appreciated. And
my pleasure,
Dan. See you around sometime soon when all the Corona stuff's finished.
So, mate. Take care. Look after yourself.
And you, mate. Stay safe. Speak soon.
Mate.